You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Welcome to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. Before we get started today, make sure that you, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that you like and leave a comment or review on my podcast. Also, the Patreon is popping. If you're not a patron, you are missing conversations. I have uploaded up there private conversations, and I will continue to upload more. So if you want to get more of me, make sure you go on over to the Patreon page. The links to my Patreon is in the show notes for the show. It's also on all of my social medias. And it only costs $10 a month. So make sure you go become a patron. And if you become a patron, you can also influence the content I create, because you can give me suggestions on things you want me to talk about, whether it's personal topics or there's TV shows and movies you want me to watch, whether it's books that you want me to read. So go on over and become a patron. Announcement. So, my lease is up in the DC area at the end of July. I will be relocating to the South. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous, but it's time. It's time for me to move and relocate and just get a fresh start. The city that I'm moving to, I'll reveal that once I'm settled in my new place and everything is fine. But just know that I'm relocating to the South. I'm going to have a fresh start. I'm already having a fresh start because I'm at my job. It's been 2 weeks now, and I really, 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 really love my job. And it's just on. I'm ready for the next evolution. I'm ready for the next step. So just keep me in your prayers. Send positive energy my way, and I'm just happy, y'all. But let's get to today's topic. Sometimes they come back. So let me tell you a story, and this is going to be quick. Y'all know how I like to do these episodes. So I'm somebody that has to reject men often because men just be on a lot of bullshit when it comes to pursuing me on these dating apps and on these websites and just generally. So I've learned how to develop a tough skin, and there is definitely a method to my madness. And typically when I'm interacting with men, if I get the twinge or the tingling that you on some bullshit, is giving immediate chop. It's giving instant chop. I'm a firm believer that what is meant for me will be, and the right person that I'm supposed to vibe with and match energies with is not going to be this like pulling teeth. It's not going to be super complex and complicated. You're either going to come correct or you're not. So for some reason, I just decided to get on Plenty of Fish. Let's talk about Plenty of Fish. When it comes to the hierarchy of dating websites, Plenty of Fish is in the middle to me. It's definitely not low like a Tag, but it's not high like a Bumble or a Hinge. It's somewhere in the middle because you get a mixture. Sometimes you come across some really cute and nice guys that have a lot going on for themselves, but you can also come across some very bangy pieces. So it's a good mixture. But I like Plenty of Fish because out of all of the website, or out of all of the dating apps, in my experience, I find that the men that I come across on Plenty of Fish, they instantly talk to you. Like on a lot of the other sites, especially like the high end ones, I match with men, but they don't really have a lot of conversation with me. Like I barely get messages with people that I match with. So I don't know if they just like to look at me. I don't know if they're just, I don't know. But on Plenty of Fish, when I match with somebody, nine times out of 10, a man is going to initiate the conversation, and men are more likely to reach out to me and make that first move, which is why I like Plenty of Fish. So I got on there for my trip to Orlando and came across this guy, nice guy, 6'4", brown skin, football player build, nice guy, and he's cute, and we start talking. And he says, well, I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm a top, but I'm oral, and I'm going to give you directness since I didn't give that to you last time. So I was like, huh? So apparently me and this person had connected before, and he definitely remembered me. Clearly I didn't remember him. So I was inspired to probe deeper. I'm like, we met before, we come across each other before. And he said yes, and things didn't work out so well, and you kind of just flipped and cut me off. So because I have to be short with men so much, I really didn't remember him. I really didn't remember that specific action, that specific interaction. But I'm a woman where there is a method to my madness. So if I had to cut you off, or if I had to be short with you, I'm a very rational woman, and there's a method to my madness. So I'm not going to give you gloosh unless you give me a reason to. So I couldn't remember, but this time he seemed really responsive and he seemed really open. So I was interested to just have conversation with him and see where it went. So we started talking, and the conversation was nice, and he was really open, and the conversation was giving me what it needed to give. So naturally, we wanted to take things off the site. Not ready to give him my number yet, but I'll give you my Kick account so we can message on there and build our rapport. And to be clear, I don't think this was a dating thing. I still think he wanted to hook up with me, but it's nice having this conversation. So he sends me his Kick screen name, and he says, because I have my Kick information listed in my profile, and he says, oh, I already I messaged you on Kick, but when I checked my Kick, I didn't see anything. So I said, that must mean I blocked you on Kick. So when I told him that I likely blocked him, and when I pulled up his number, it said that he was blocked, he said, well, you can, I can't remember exactly what he said. No, he didn't say anything. What I said is, oh, you're blocked. So if I blocked you, you must have been on some bullshit for me to block you, because I just don't randomly block people. You have to do something that I don't like, or something that wastes my time for me to block you. So he tries to backpedal and pussy pop. No, I just caught you on the wrong day, and you just seem really short with me. Like, not kind of really. And from my perspective, I kind of feel like he wasn't owning his part in whatever happened between us. And I had to reaffirm that, no, I don't just block men for any reason. You had to have been playing games with me for me to block you. But since his tone this time was calm, it was more respectful, it was more open, I was more willing to engage to get to the bottom of, so it could trigger my memory more. so I can figure out why I took the action that I did. But I'm at the point where I trust myself enough to know that anything I did in the past, there was a valid reason for me to do it. So he started sending me voice notes on Plenty of Fish, and after back and forth and me standing firm in my position, he finally breaks down and says, "The last time when we talked and I reached out to you, it was on some sexual hookup stuff, but you asked me straight up, do you perform oral on trans women?" Which is something that if me and somebody are going to get straight to sex and you're approaching me, you're knowing my tea, you're knowing what type of trans woman I am, and you want to know what pleases me in the bedroom, I'm going to be direct with you, because what I've learned, especially dealing with quote unquote cishet men, you have to be very black and white with them, especially when it comes to what is going down in the bedroom. I don't like to give men any gray area, because if you give them gray areas, they will tap and dance and not stand firm in what they want and play games, and then next thing you know, they done bust they nut and going about their business, and you still are waiting to orgasm with an open hole. And that for me, especially if we're just hooking up, that's just not going to work for me. I need to hear you say it, and I need to hear you say it with the glee in your voice or a smile on your face. I need to know that not only do you like trans women, but you're going to like the experience, and that I'm going to get my pleasure, and that you want to be here. So he told me that he didn't give a direct answer, but then he gave me more context. He said, "I didn't give you a direct answer because no trans woman had ever asked me, just straightforward, did I like to perform oral on trans women?" He said, "I've never been asked that before, and I've never said it out loud, and I wasn't comfortable at the time to say it, but here I am now. I'm comfortable to say it now, and I knew that if I saw you again or interacted with you again, I was going to be direct and give you what you wanted." So in that moment, I'm not going to lie, I felt like the cunts. I felt like the cunts because so many times, especially being a black trans woman and trying to have standards and trying to stand firm in yourself, you deal with so much gaslighting. You deal with so many men, especially black men, trying to tear you down or try to water down your position so you fit into whatever agenda that they're trying to do. And sometimes it gets hard. And that's a lot of the times why trans women get into the situations that we get in with these men, because morally and spiritually we get wore down to the point that where we feel like we need to take what we can take. But it made me feel so good that, and I always say this, when you stand 10 toes down, when you stand firm in what you believe in, the people that are really meant for you, the people that are really there trying to get the lesson, will get the lesson. And if they really want you bad enough, they'll come back with changed behavior. Now, I'm not saying that he's this better man, and we're not even on no relationship dating thing, but it really made me feel good in that moment, and it really validated me that there is a method to my madness, and I'm not crazy, and that if I stand firm in what I ask for and what I'm putting out into the universe, I'm going to get it back eventually. So it just really made me felt good that this black trans attracted man listened, and he took notes and he applied it, and he ain't applied to some other bitch. He came back to me, and he came back to me so good and slick that I didn't even remember the last interaction. So, and I just appreciated that nuance and context, because dealing with these cishet men, especially when they are trying to push up on a trans woman, they are just so flat, and there's no nuance, and it's just, sometimes you feel like you're talking to like a kindergartner. But that's shade to kindergartners, because I feel like I would get more insightful conversation from like a kindergartner or a first grader than some of these grown ass men. So it really made me feel good that he was able to take me back to that time period and really tell me what was going on, because especially when I get into a relationship with my next partner, that is the type of skill set, that's the level of depth that I need, especially with a partner when we're going through stuff that is uncomfortable, stuff that is going to want to make you shut down and have shame. Like, that's the type of stuff that I want to talk about. That's the type of stuff that I find attractive. That's the type of stuff that that's going to bond me to a partner. And that's the type of stuff that lets me know that somebody is working through their shit. I don't know who this man's tribe is or who's around him that gave him the wherewithal to reflect, but the way that he showed up, it just made me feel like I wasn't crazy, and that I'm moving in the right direction, and I don't think, we're going to date. I don't know what's going to come, but it makes me feel that when I do find my partner, that I can have this depth and the level of the engagement. And sometimes they come back. Sometimes they come back if they want to get it right. And I'm just so happy that I was able to have that slither of the moment, that this was the universe's way of reaffirming that who I am and the things that I stand for and just how I carry myself in a woman in this world will be validated and will be respected, particularly by men that try to penetrate and enter my space, because my space is very important to me, and it's very important that my partner respects me, and that my partner wants to rise to the occasion for me to be in my space and share time with me. So if this is a sign of things to come, I am so happy to just move forward to the future, to move forward in love for myself, love for other people, for me having patience with people and giving people, especially men, the time to nurture their thoughts and explain themselves, and to develop the voice so that they can communicate their complexities and communicate their nuance, and for us all to grow together, honey. But that just, even though I don't have a partner right now, I have so much love to give. I have so much love of myself. I have so much love, even in the scarcity and uncertainty. I'm just choosing to radiate love, both good love and tough love when it's needed. But that's all the story I got for you. Thank you for listening. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe. Go on over to my Patreon and become a patron. And I will see you all on the next episode, y'all. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.